My name is Kaika, and I will be presenting my senior research on teacher certification. I'm looking at the different types of certification in Connecticut and in Florida. Connecticut has a three-tier system of certification, the first being initial. Initial is valid for 3 years, and it was renewable by the school district if the teacher cannot make it to the next tier within those 3 years. The next type of certification is called provisional. This is valid for 8 years and is not renewable. Finally, there is professional educator, which is for 5 years, and you have 10 months of teaching, and you have to complete the beginner educator support and training program. This means that you must display 10 months of teaching within the schools, and you will have someone come in to observe you, and they will either say that you can be a professional educator or you will go back to the provisional. To become a teacher in Connecticut, you must take the Praxis 1 test, which is the pre-professional test, which looks at the pedagogy and situational events. The second test is the Praxis 2 subject knowledge test, which looks at the different subject areas. In Florida, there are 2 types of certification. Professional certificate, which is 5 years, valid for 5 years, and is renewable. To be able to teach in Florida, you need to get fingerprinted, drug tested, and have a background check. There is also the temporary certificate, and this is 3 years and non-renewable. It is almost like a passport. You must hold a bachelor's degree to have this, and you can teach full-time while waiting for the requirements for the professional certificate. In Florida, you must take the general knowledge test, which is all subjects and a writing portion. You must also take the professional educator exam, which is similar to the Praxis 1. It looks at situational events and the pedagogy. And finally, you must take the subject area test, which covers all the different subjects, and it is multiple choice test. Next, we'll be looking at my V diagram. My focus question is, how does teacher certification differ in Connecticut and in Florida? My event is researching teacher certification programs in Connecticut and Florida. My philosophy after my senior research was that by looking at the teacher certification programs, I believe Florida better prepares their teachers. My theory is, however, I realized that the population in Connecticut would make it more desirable to work there because of things like socioeconomics. Principles. The ESOL endorsement in Florida is an important aspect that attracts me to teach there. ESOL stands for English Speakers of Other Languages, and there is a higher population of ESOL students in Florida. Also, Florida teachers must be ESOL endorsed when they are graduating with a teacher certificate. Key concepts are certification, ESOL, and demographics. My value claim is the chance to work with a more diverse population in my pre-service teaching would make me a better teacher. The reason I thought this is because while here at Stetson, I've been able to work with a very diverse population of students, and I believe that in Connecticut I wouldn't have got to work with such a diverse population, and therefore I'm better prepared for different situations I will encounter when I'm teaching. My knowledge claim is that teachers in Connecticut get paid more. However, the cost of living is also more expensive. Transformations. I started off leaning towards teaching in Connecticut. However, throughout my research, I think I'd enjoyed teaching in Florida more. My records were Florida and Connecticut Department of Education, UConn, University of Florida, and Stetson education websites. Some interesting data that I found is that field experience required prior to student teaching is not required in Connecticut. However, in Florida, you must do field experience before you were allowed to student teach. And I was very shocked about this because I think that without field experience you wouldn't be able to go in the classroom and see exactly what's going on, and therefore you would be better prepared if you were in Florida because you would have the ability to partake in field experience. The other question was, is experience in a multicultural setting required? And it is not in Connecticut, and it is in Florida, which I really liked because, once again, I have the opportunity to work with a more diverse population of students.